Hi guys and welcome to my channel. So in today's video we have 5 collaborators with here who are basically going to tell you what slow fashion is to them. They'll tell you about the current campaigns and everything that the slow fashion movement means to them. So again, this is a video from the series. Let's hear it from the first part was the one where I introduced you to 5 teenagers who are following a zero waste lifestyle, and this is the second part of the video with people who from all over the world who are following a slow fashion lifestyle and are slow fashion enthusiasts. Let's get started, and I cannot wait for you to listen to what they have to say.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Budgeon. I'm 21. I'm based in England in the United Kingdom, and I love thrift shopping and plant-based living.
Hi everyone, my name is Malvika. I am a sustainability blogger and I talk about all things low waste living, slow fashion, veganism, and a lot more on my Instagram page.
Hi, I'm Lucy from Our Fashion Garden. I'm 24 years old and I'm a fashion designer.
Hi, I'm Dani from Our Fashion Garden. I'm 23 and I'm a fashion designer.
Hi, my name is Andrea Jarrett. I am 29 years old. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a violinist in the St. Louis Symphony, but also an slow fashion, sustainable fashion, ethical fashion enthusiast over on Instagram.
Each one of them means something different, but I think all of them can be described as conscious, because they are not only made to sell, they have an intention. Slow fashion is the opposite of fast fashion, which means fewer collections a year and they are carefully designed to last. Ethical fashion is more focused on protecting and being fair to people. Fair trade, fair wages, and good working conditions are a big part of it. They keep the planet in mind, but ethical fashion doesn't necessarily mean it is eco-friendly. And sustainable fashion supports all of this: the environment, people, and economy. So it's all about a great balance between offering good jobs and caring about the planet.
So what does slow, sustainable, ethical fashion mean to me? I think it's definitely to be done imperfectly with not, too much pressure on ourselves. I think what's most important to me is like the rate at which we are consuming clothes, how we view them as, not disposable, which is what the fast fashion industry keeps trying to tell us, but something that we truly take care of and see as something we're going to have for many years to come.
So sustainable fashion, according to me, is where fashion is approached through a holistic lens, where profits are not just at the forefront, but the people, the planet, and the profitability of the business is considered. And slow fashion also doesn't go based on trends, on what's new or what's happening. Basically, using resources in a wise manner, and ensuring that the people who are producing garments are treated well and paid fairly, and ultimately the end product can be used for a very, very long time by the end customer. And it's not just which you wear for a few months and you let it go. It's something that you can have for years and years, and that's what slow fashion means to me.
To me, sustainable or slow fashion is about practicing a more intentional way of consumption, and it's about channeling our love for style and design towards creating timeless pieces that will last. And it's also largely about respect for garment workers and for the planet. I realised there was a problem with the fast fashion industry through a YouTuber called Kristen Leo. She did a video exposing the labour conditions and the environmental impacts of fast fashion, and it really woke me up to the side of fashion that I didn't know about. And then later on I watched more documentaries such as Stacey Dooley Investigates, and they really opened my eyes.
So there were many factors which led me to realize the horrible impact of the fast fashion industry. Back when I was, doing my master's, we had a whole class around, sustainability in business. And we watched the True Cost documentary, which gives a very apt and realistic representation of how the fast fashion industry works and why it is so horrendous. And then when I began adopting a more sustainable living, when I approached, my lifestyle more sustainably, I then kind of looked at all spectrums of my life. And when it came to clothes, I mean, when I was younger as well, I was never given the liberty to buy as many clothes as I wanted to by my parents when they were funding. And then when I started earning money, I did realize that I used to spend a huge amount of clothes because I do love clothes and I love fashion. And I used to spend a lot on just without thinking, just on whatever you see in the mall, which is H&M, which is Forever New, which is Zara, Mango, all of these brands. And when I started looking at my life and how can I be more sustainable, fashion was actually one of the top things I looked at. And then when you look at sustainable is one thing which is, primarily for the planet. I mean, fast fashion is one of the leading contributors to global warming. Apart from that, there's also an ethical aspect which is very closely tied to sustainability. You can't really be sustainable without thinking of the ethics. An ethical aspect of it, which is also, how are the workers treated, and pay up open, which happened during the pandemic, the Rana Plaza incident in Bangladesh. I mean, these are all just, it's really right in front of us, the humongous issues with the fast fashion industry. But I acknowledged it and I realized that I need to make a change and I need to spread this information to other people.
Well, to see the injustices that are being made to fast fashion workers, the conditions they work in, the lower salaries they have, and the treatment they receive, it's just devastating. One time, our teacher showed us a video that presented this reality of the workers who are really being treated awfully, and they're mostly women, so it's just sad. And since fast fashion offers garments at very low prices, they can't pay their employees fairly, and even if they up their prices, that they would just keep paying them poorly. And that's just one problem. There are a lot of other problems with fast fashion.
So for me, like I'm sure many others, something that really turned me off to the fast fashion industry was watching the True Cost documentary on Netflix, which details, all of the gross sort of behind the scenes look into the current state of the fast fashion industry, whether it be the materials that are wreaking havoc on the environment or the inhumane treatment of garment workers. And just once I was made aware of that, it was really hard to look away.
Wear what you have, stop buying things you don't need, and save up money to invest in items that you truly love and will use more. Change your mindset and understand that sustainable fashion isn't only about consuming sustainable brands. Thrifting is sustainable, swapping clothes with friends, mending, upcycling, of course, making and sewing your own clothes.
To create a sustainable wardrobe on a budget, the first best tip is to just really wear what you already have in your closet. And I'm sure you'll hear that from a lot of other folks in this scene. But, again, like looking at your clothes is not disposable. It's something you really hang on to and really loving what you have. And if you are searching for a new piece, I happen to love the app Poshmark to shop secondhand from, individual people. And I also use it as a way to give a second life to clothes that no longer work for me. So I am a huge fan of shopping secondhand whenever possible. I think that's one of the best ways to do this on a budget.
My best tip to create a sustainable wardrobe on a budget is to shop secondhand. That's where the majority of clothes that I have come from. Even this jumper is secondhand. So you can find vintage stores at markets, charity shops, and Depop and eBay are really good as well. Thrift stores can be a little bit more expensive, but charity shops, eBay are pretty good. You can find some cheap things.
So there are several tips on how to create a more sustainable wardrobe, and I'll give you what I have done and what I know. One is shop your own wardrobe, which means use what you already have, right? So you're on the sustainability journey, and you have a lot of H&M and Zara and all of these fast fashion brands already in front of you. What the step one would be is just to use your clothes to the maximum extent possible. Mix and match. Just find different combinations, wear things differently. There's so many ideas on social media on how you can wear one thing 7 times, so just wear what you have in multiple ways and do not be afraid to repeat clothes. That would be number one. Number two is just borrow. I think we when we were younger we probably did this, but I would just say borrow clothes, and I do that all the time. Borrow from your sisters, borrow from your friends, borrow. We borrow, your mom's sari or a dupatta. You don't need to buy anything new if you can just borrow what your friends and family have. So just borrow. And an extension of borrowing would be to try thrifting. So thrifting is an affordable way to shop sustainably. In a sense, I mean, there are certain thrift stores that are slightly expensive, but you can also start thrifting, and there's so many Instagram thrift stores that you can choose from. By doing that, you're just helping the circular model of the industry, which is you're elongating the life cycle of a garment. So that's a great way also to build a sustainable wardrobe if in case you want to pick up new pieces. And of course, a third thing would be that overall, if you buy less, that means you can choose clothing. You can choose brands that are maybe selling for a slightly higher price, but they're much more long lasting. And since you wouldn't have bought frivolously through the month, right? I mean, because you're not really shopping fast fashion, you can afford to buy one piece or 2 pieces from a sustainable brand, which again, according to me, they're not too I would still say some sustainable brands are not so expensive and they are in the affordable range. And my mantra is buy less but choose better quality. So that's what I would say. So to summarize, basically, shop your own wardrobe, borrow from friends and family. If you can, thrift, find thrift stores on Instagram and you can thrift certain items. And if you do want to buy, make sure you're buying long-lasting garments that last long from sustainable brands that are, certified, that are actually, that you can back up that they are actually sustainable. And those are the ways to kind of build a sustainable wardrobe. But always remember to buy less and choose well, and you will be in a budget.
So some struggles that I have faced in curating a more sustainable wardrobe, there are actually so many great brands that are doing amazing things for the fashion industry and ticking all of those boxes that we look for. And I want to support all of them and buy, their beautiful clothes. But I do have to be, really picky for financial reasons and for my own consumption reasons. So if I am, seeing a brand that, I love what they're putting out, but I know that I don't need those clothes, I do make sure to support them in other ways, which is interacting with their social media posts and sharing them with my community. Because even if I'm not buying a garment, those are real tangible ways to support that business.
When we start building our sustainable wardrobe, there are many challenges we face. The first one and most common are the prices. They can be very high and they're not affordable sometimes. But we think that it's all about planning and investing in high quality garments. because if you see it in the long term, what you invest is going to be paid off on long term, because you'll use your garments more time. And the second one is making it feel like it's your wardrobe. Sometimes we buy things that are not completely us, and we either follow trends or buy things that we don't love 100%, and we end up with a whole wardrobe that we're not 100% comfortable. So it takes longer to decide which outfit to wear and what to wear that day. So if you have a wardrobe that has 100% your style, it won't take that long to dress in the mornings or to feel like it is your wardrobe.
Some of the struggles that I've faced while curating a sustainable wardrobe is that it's hard to be perfect, and I think that's something you have to accept. There are times where I have bought something new and it's turned out that I've loved that item and I still cherish it to this day. But we're human and it's okay to make mistakes. And on the other side of that, buying from sustainable brands can be quite expensive. It's great to shop secondhand, there's some cheap things secondhand, but sustainable brands are known to be more expensive. However, I think they are getting better, so that's good.
To be quite honest, I haven't found a lot of difficulties in building an ethical, sustainable wardrobe. I also need to check my privilege, because I can afford certain pieces, but I would say overall, if you just, because we all, the people are probably watching this, you already have so many clothes in your wardrobe. So the key is really not to be on a buy mode, but it's to just use what you already have in the best possible way. To me, it really isn't that difficult. It's just something that you need to be mindful and intentional about. And that goes back to, why are you doing this? Why are you not choosing to shop fast fashion even when it's right in front of you? I have so many times since I've adopted this lifestyle, I've passed by an H&M and it just doesn't even occur to me to buy something. Because I'm intentional. I have a why behind why I'm not choosing that. So make your why stronger, and then you can find ways to build your wardrobe in an ethical and sustainable way. But the number one thing is, just because you have something from a fast fashion store doesn't mean you need to throw it out. It's not about how it looks from the outside, whether it looks like it's ethical and sustainable. If you know that you are using your garments again and again in different ways, even if it's from a fast fashion brand, then that's completely fine. Don't try to get rid of everything that you have that's fast fashion. But when you purchase anything, then be mindful of where you're getting it from and why you're purchasing that garment.
Thrifting is a great option if you have time and a small budget. You can find great things for a good price, like trends, vintage clothes, and you can buy for a lot less than you would in a sustainable brand. However, you should also keep a mindset of only buying what you need or what you love. Otherwise, it can't stop being sustainable.
So I think thrifting is super fun. I actually think thrifting is a really wonderful way to really discover your personal style, because you are sifting through like such a variety of individual different things. So I feel like you really intuitively like get to learn more about what you love to wear. And every memory I have of like going into a thrift store, I actually do more in-person thrift shopping with home goods. So I just love visiting like local antique markets and getting a lot of inspiration from there, and really trying to source items for my home from those secondhand markets.
So I think thrifting is a wonderful concept. It's actually come quite late to India, but I'm so happy that it's finally come here and it is here to stay. Thrifting is a way to elongate the life cycle of a garment. Because the way we are as millennials, we get bored of our things so fast. Thrifting is an amazing way that if I buy something and I feel in 6 months time that I don't really like it or doesn't really fit my wardrobe, I'm able to actually sell on thrifting platforms that garment, and it's able to go to somebody else who probably will want that or really needs that to build their wardrobe, you know. So I think it's perfect for the kind of era we're in, where we get bored of things, right? And so it's just a beautiful way to elongate the lifetime of a garment, and be able to use that in multiple ways by multiple people. And yeah, so I think there are certain things that people feel weird about thrifting, whether, you know, about cleanliness and about, you know, why do I want to buy secondhand when it's kind of at the same price point, you know. And to address both those things, right? Thrifted garments are always, in my experience, and I brought a lot of thrifted garments, they're actually dry cleaned and, you know, really packaged well to you. So it's not just given to you in a haphazard way. A lot of these thrift stores are managed by people who really do care about, you know, their business, and care about, they have a strong why. They do believe in sustainability, and they do believe that everybody should get a quality garment. So they ensure that it's dry cleaned, that it's sent to you in the optimum form. So, and also note that even if you're buying it firsthand, a lot of people are touching it before it comes to you. So it's like a mental block, really, right? And in terms of the price point, I mean, I think again, if you have questions, you should reach out to the business owner. In my mind, it's just, you know, a lot of these garments are kind of have the tags on, right? It's just that it's a lot of people they buy something and they don't need it immediately, and they just sell it. So at that point, then it's almost like a fresh garment that's coming to you, right? Like a first-hand garment. It's just that it's 6 months delayed because it was in someone's wardrobe being unused. So I think they have the kind of economics worked out, and that's why they sell it like that. So I would say just be open and ask about it instead of just writing it off, because a lot of these garments also could be factory seconds or factory surplus, or there could be a small glitch in the product, like a small weed glitch or something, and it's just rejected, and that is also sold in thrift stores. So yeah, I would say just be open about it, and you know, you don't need to go crazy thrifting. You can just start with one garment, and then you can go based on that. But I feel the whole thrifting, the whole objective of thrifting is really strong, is here to stay, because we have overproduced clothes because of fast fashion, because of the trend-based fashion that a lot of people are just, you know, get so attracted to it. There's excess of garments, and those are already produced, so you might as well use them to its maximum capacity. So yeah, I'm really happy that in India thrifting has become what it is now, and I hope it's here to stay and it grows.
I love thrifting so much, from fashion to homeware. I absolutely love buying secondhand and going through all the rails in thrift stores. I have some great memories thrifting with my best friends. We'll just have fun and try on like random stuff, before coronavirus obviously, try on random things and just laugh together and pick out really funny outfits for each other, and then actually find some really good stuff too. So yeah, I love thrifting.
So to get reliable information on sustainability practices of brands, I look thoroughly through the website before purchasing. If it's not mentioned on the website, that's strange in itself, because if they are a sustainable brand, then it should be mentioned on the website. So usually it's there on the website. And also I look through the social media to check. You can get a lot of user-generated information also on social. So I look to those two sources.
Getting reliable information can be very difficult, but at the same time it should be very easy. If a brand is really sustainable, as they say, they should have all the information on their website. The transparency is key here. But there are other sources that analyze the impact of big companies. For example, the organization Fashion Revolution, they have a section on their website where they rate brands on how transparent they are. Their index of transparency is very detailed, and it shows how much a company shows how they're doing things. Another example is the Good On You app. where you can enter on the search bar any brand you want, and they rate it how sustainable they are. But we cannot trust 100% any source. So what I recommend is to research different sources and to compare and to see that one source is true.
The place that I go to find information on working conditions is the Good On You app. You can get it on your phone or on a web browser, and I find that a really reliable resource because it tells you all the information they have and it rates brands on a scale. So that's a good one to check out.
So where I look for information about the brand's transparency into their labor practices is usually they'll have an About Me page on their website. If they don't have any About Me section, I think that's a little bit of a red flag. As we know, the term sustainability does not really have any regulation right now. So it is up to the brand to include, those ways that they do business on their website very clearly for everyone to see. And it's, you make your best judgment call. If you are thinking that what they're providing in that About Me page is sufficient, go ahead and support them. If you want to ask more questions, definitely go ahead and contact them. A lot of times they have, email addresses or chat boxes that you can, inquire and say like, hey, I like, this much of what I see, but what else are you doing?
I think it is hard to resist in the beginning mostly, but with time you stop finding it as attractive as you used to. Staying from fast fashion from one day to another can be very hard, but if you do it gradually, I think it gets easier. We actually made a blog post where we teach people who don't have many options to buy fast fashion consciously.
I think it really is hard to step away from fast fashion because of the beautiful styles of clothing and the cheap prices combined. So I think it's definitely important when speaking to someone who hasn't yet known about the implications of fast fashion or moved away from that form of shopping to really relate and actually say, yeah, it is tempting, the clothes are beautiful and they're cheap, but it's the price that's being paid by the environment and the garment workers that we need to focus on.
I think it can be difficult to fully disconnect yourself from fast fashion, but again, my best workaround advice for that is a lot of times I love Madewell clothes, for instance. I have always loved the way they fit, they hold up really well, but Poshmark has a sea of Madewell pieces, so you can find them secondhand, and I feel like that's a really great workaround if you are somebody that really loves fast fashion, and you have your favorite brands at the mall. I would just suggest heading on to Poshmark or eBay or ThredUp and searching for your favorite brand secondhand instead.
So I personally do not find it difficult to abstain from purchasing fast fashion, and as I said before, I think why is that because my why is very clear. I do not want to support brands that are unethical and unsustainable, and they do it in such a blatant manner, right? I think information is power and ignorance isn't bliss. Which means that if you are given certain information and you find certain information, because of social media there's so much awareness. If you fail to act on that information, on that new information, then it's pointless. So when you have information, when you're armed with knowledge and with up-to-date information, basically, you must take action. So to me, that's my philosophy, and therefore I do not find it difficult to abstain because my why is very strong, and yeah, that's basically it.
So as far as organizations that are fighting for better transparency, I love the Remake Our World Instagram account. I get so much amazing, news and insight and petitions you can sign and actionable steps to participate in a more bright and transparent, sustainable fashion future.
One campaign I loved was Remember Who Made Them. It was a podcast by Venetia Lamana, and some other women as well, and they connected with garment worker rights movements in different countries and really shared a lot of information through that podcast about fast fashion.
So yes, I do follow a lot of campaigns around the ethical fashion movement. Pay Up happened during the pandemic. Fashion Revolution, Who Made My Clothes. All of these campaigns are crucial to raise awareness about this problem that we're facing. It's a human right violation. That is the extremity of what these companies are doing, and these campaigns to an extent can put pressure on brands to truly look at the issue in hand, and it's but at the end of the day, I think it is a public movement, so we need to be echoing the voices of people who are trying to bring about change, and that's what I just try to do with these campaigns, is just echo what they're saying, spread that information that they're putting out, and it's a way to exert pressure and to demand change. I think a lot of companies, from Boohoo to Forever 21, all of these companies, really took advantage of the pandemic to not pay their workers on time and things like that. And yeah, I mean, these campaigns are crucial to bring back things on track. And I think it'll continue as long as the fast fashion industry is there. So yeah.
I know about two of them that I trust and love. The first one is called Fashion Revolution, which I mentioned before, and they focus on the ethical aspects of the fashion industry. They have campaigns like the one called Who Made My Clothes. This one has a purpose to ask fashion brands about the workers on their factory and encourage us to demand these fashion brands who made our clothes. There is another movement called Wear Your Values from the organization Remake, and they are a community of millennial and Gen Z women who pledge to wear our values and put an end to fast fashion. I love this one because I believe that what we wear reflects our values, and it's very important. But on their website you can find a lot of information about how to take action to end fast fashion. You could find petitions, sources to donate, and lots of valuable information.
One piece of advice I'd give to anyone who's moving away from fast fashion is to just go in a charity shop with your mind open and enjoy it. A charity shop or a thrift shop, and just envision pieces in your wardrobe and just have fun with it. Yeah, you won't you never know what you'll find.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Quitting fast fashion from one day to another can be very hard. So instead, try reducing your consumption and wear what you have more. Repeat outfits. If you can buy from a sustainable brand, do it. Start by buying basics and those brands. Try upcycling what you no longer wear, start sewing, go thrifting. Just allow yourself to be creative.
So one piece of advice for people who are starting out on this journey is to start slow. As the name suggests, slow fashion, just start slow. Make small changes, consume less. Question from where you're buying from. Just make very small changes, because then small changes can be made into bigger habits. So really start slow by educating yourself, by choosing to buy less, and when you do buy intentionally.
So if you are someone that's just starting out on a sustainable fashion journey, I'm sure you'll hear this advice a lot, but truly just take it really slow and use what's already in your closet, really wear those items, identify what you already have in your closet that maybe isn't serving you well, so you might know what to avoid when you're shopping in the future. And again, it's not about tearing out your closet and filling it with only ethical and sustainable brands. That's not quite the idea, and that's also going to be very expensive. So just take it slow, take stock of what you have, and really appreciate it.
I think it is educating ourselves before we actually start making any action towards a sustainable wardrobe. We need to make our research on how exactly sustainability benefits the planet and the people. Getting to know the whole process of producing clothes It's helpful to understand and held accountable how much process your piece of clothing has to have before getting to you. That way you will be conscious about any purchase you make. It doesn't matter if it's fashion or not.
I think that it's really important to call out brands and really get the message across to the big brands that we're demanding a sustainable future, not just for ourselves but for everyone in the world and for the garment workers. Rather than pressuring ourselves to have a perfect sustainable wardrobe, it's actually more useful if we also put our energy towards those bigger companies to make the big changes, because that's where the difference will be made.
This is such a great question. Something that is more important than just having the ethical and sustainable wardrobe. I would say, being aware of these issues in industries outside of fashion too, and just, fighting for equity, transparency in all businesses, and, holding huge corporations accountable in whatever way you can, because they will try to tell us that it is the individual's responsibility to fix climate change and completely fix the fast fashion industry. When really, yeah, it's more about, holding those huge corporations accountable because they have so much more impact.
I think choosing to adopt a slow fashion living and things like that is a very personal thing, right? It's something you're doing in your personal life. But really to create change and to create impact at a larger scale is by making your voice heard. And that really means calling out brands when they are not, when they are hiding information, or when they're extremely unethical or unsustainable. Call them out. Spread awareness on your own platform. When you talk to people, include them in this conversation. So make it more about, you're leading by example. So I think that is crucial, to kind of making slow fashion more prominent, right? We want to make it the norm. And in order to do that, we need to share information. We need to spread information. We need to tell people why we're leading this lifestyle and how they can probably join in. So I think spreading information and calling out brands, signing petitions, these things are really, really important to create more change at scale. So make your voice heard is what I would say.
So what does the slow fashion movement mean to me? It's such a great question. Again, it's like celebration of what you already have and appreciation for what you have, which is sort of like an anti-capitalist mindset, which I'm all about that. Like, why don't we just stop buying things so much? And beyond just like not buying stuff, I think it's also like appreciation for small moments in life that could easily be overlooked. So I enjoy that vibe. It's, it's soothing, it feels wholesome, it feels really meaningful.
The slow fashion movement to me is about awareness, it's about intentional living, and it's also about community. I've met so many great friends online through thrifting and through the slow fashion movement. And it also means acceptance too. With the current system we're in, it's very easy to slip up. It's made so that we buy fast fashion. So I think it's really important to be forgiving and accepting of ourselves and of others, and to be hopeful for the future too, because there's a lot of progress being made.
I think this movement is important to all of us, even if someone doesn't know it, because it is a way to heal our earth and, while helping people who are suffering, is raising our voices to ask for justice and make a change. That it means nothing if we remain the same and don't change our consuming habits. And I think more than calling out what's made wrong, we should start trying our best to contribute, knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect, that every little small action counts.
So the slow fashion movement to me means being an intentional and mindful customer, and advocating for brands that are looking at fashion through a holistic lens. That is, they are looking at the people who are working for them. They're also looking after the planet and its other living beings, and they're looking at how to be a profitable venture. So that's what slow fashion means.
And that was it. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you've come to the end of it, which is right now, I really hope that the efforts put in by all these amazing slow fashion enthusiasts actually makes a difference, so that you can also learn something and make the switch towards sustainable fashion today. I will be linking below the documentaries, the YouTube channels, as well as the accounts of these amazing people in the description below, so you can check them out. And the answers that they had given to these questions is so deep and so understandable that even a simple layman person can understand what they have told you. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video. We'll be back with more parts related to plant-based living, environmental justice, and if you want any other part, let me know in the comments below so that I can start reaching out to people for that specific video. I want you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you know when the next video is here, so that you can learn and unlearn with us. Stay sustainable, and that was it.